Self-discovery on the way. Reflect, reset, be your best. Join the quiz, it's not a test. Feel the light, embrace the dawn. Empowerment, it's going strong. Daily lesson quiz, hooray! What did we learn today? Join the fun, let's all play. Reflect, reset, rise today. Morning gods, we shine so bright. Wisdom flowing, pure insight. Soars through God's words, they lift us high. New beginnings reach the sky. Every moment, take it in. Start anew, let's begin. From the dawn to the night, together we ignite. Daily lesson quiz, hooray! What did we learn today? Join the fun, let's all play. Reflect, reset, rise today.
Good morning, and welcome to First Light Reflections, your weekday guide to self-discovery and empowerment, where each sunrise brings you and I a new chance to reflect, reset, and create the best version of ourselves. How is everyone doing? How are you doing? Have we having a good week so far, Michelle? I hope so. Good morning, Alicia. She made it to class early this morning. Good morning, Brother Wayne. Glad to see you. What's going on, Jay? What's going on? Good morning, Mama B. So glad to see everyone here this morning in this amazing community. I look forward to seeing you all each weekday morning. It's such a pleasure and a blessing to have you come in as we gather together during this time. And as we enter this time of reflection, let us remember to yield our hearts to the Lord, because seeking his kingdom and his purpose above all else, that is what transforms us. And before we get underway, say good morning, it's cold. You cold, say it. But I know she don't have the heat on. She'll sit in there and freeze first. I had to turn my heat on. Now, you know I got my fan. I do. But it is a little chilly out there. Let me see, what do we got? What do we got today? 42? Not too bad. Not too bad. You know, it's tank top and flip-flop weather. I tell you, just never know from day to day. We go from 75, 80, next thing, 42. I'm back. But this is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it, and just put on some warm clothes before we head out there today. Good morning, Charlotte. Sometimes, family, let us do things decent and in order and invite God into our presence as we prepare to go on our journey this morning. All right? Heavenly Father, we thank you for this time to be able to come together again at First Light Reflection, to be able to tabernacle together. We ask that you tabernacle with us as we go on this journey this morning. May it be transformative. May it continue to expand our hearts, expand our minds, Lord, so that we continue being lights in this world. May you be glorified in Jesus' name. Amen. All right, family. All right. How are we? Y'all ready? Oh, and good morning to those of you who are on Facebook, those of you that may be watching the replay or on YouTube watching just out in the foyer. Good morning as well. So glad to have you. This is your community, your space to reflect and grow and shine together. All right. We'll be looking at Proverbs chapter 9, making our way verses 13 through 17. We have some ground to cover this morning as we look at the topic of see through the lies. Spot foolishness before it's too late. Good morning, Burton. Good morning. So glad to see you, my friend. Good morning, Delisa. How are you? She was on the wrong live. She was on the wrong live. She definitely need to go get her first light cup of coffee. Man, that's the same. You should ask Brother Wayne, where you at? Because Brother Wayne made it. Now, mind you, they're in the same household. Where were you on tomorrow's live stream, Delisa? That's all right. It's been a long, look, this has been a long year already, has it not? 2025 has been a long year already, even though theoretically, the year doesn't actually start until March. So actually 2024 has still been a long year. But according to the world, the current calendar that we're going by, 2025 has been a long year. But that's all right. Through Christ, we can do all things. He's the one that strengthens us to continue on. And we continue now looking at see through the lies, spotting foolishness before it's too late. Family, you ever notice how the biggest mistakes, they don't look like mistakes at first, right? They slide in smooth, dressed up like opportunity, excitement, or that one little risk that we think we can control, that one risk. We're like, I got this. It's a risk, but I think I'm going to be pretty good with it. It feels harmless, maybe even right, until suddenly you're caught in a mess that you never saw coming. You saw it coming, but you didn't see it coming. You understand? Keep in mind, we're going through verses 13 through 17 of Proverbs chapter 9. See, foolishness doesn't come just kicking down the door and announcing itself. It doesn't. It slips in quietly, whispering sweet nothings while it's setting a trap all at the same time. Good morning, Jessica. So glad to see you. So today, as we look at Proverbs chapter 9, grab your biblications, your note-taking devices, whatever it is. But I always say, follow along, right? So you don't go and say what Torah said. That's what the rule book says. Because if we don't know how to spot foolishness, we'll find out the hard way, what it costs us in the end. And I can say, I have 2 PhDs, probably have done it, probably had it done to me. The price is always more than we're really ready to pay. We hear something that sounds just too good, but deep down we know it's a bad idea. We hear the voice of Charles screaming out inside of us, something's wrong here. This should be a dead giveaway, right? We know it's a bad idea. It's like that old cartoon, where the angel is on one shoulder and they show the devil on the other shoulder, one whispering wisdom and the other has this smooth, persuasive voice, promising us shortcuts, thrills, easy way outs. And before we know it, we've taken the bait. Now, here's our question of the day. Are you listening to wisdom, or have you been seduced by the sweet voice of foolishness? Are you listening to wisdom, or have you been seduced by the sweet voice of foolishness? Because Proverbs chapter 9, our devotional text, verses 13 through 17, warns us that foolishness isn't loud and obvious. It's subtle, it's seductive, but it's also deadly. Let's get into our devotional text. A foolish woman is clamorous. She is simple and knows nothing. Oh, wait. For she sits at the door of her house on a seat by the highest places of the city to call those who pass by, who go straight on their way. Whoever is simple, let him turn and hear. And as for him who lacks understanding, she says to him, stolen water is sweet, and bread eaten in secret is pleasant. What's this saying to us? A foolish woman is clamorous. She is simple and knows nothing. What is this saying to us? Let's break it down. A foolish woman. This isn't just about a woman. It's about a spirit. It's about an attitude. It's about a way of life. Foolishness is being personified here as a woman, but this applies to anyone who walks in reckless disregard for wisdom. It's universal. This is about living without thinking, without discernment, chasing whatever feels good in the moment. It's clamorous. Clamorous, what does that mean? Loud, noisy, obnoxious. Foolishness isn't quiet. It's all in your face, right? It demands attention. It's that voice. It's that voice in your head that's screaming, do it. Why not? YOLO, you only live once. Just do it. It drowns out the quiet, steady voice of wisdom that on the other side is saying, just think this through. Just think this through. Foolishness thrives on chaos. Foolishness loves drama. Foolishness loves being the loudest voice in the room. She is simple and knows nothing. Simple here doesn't mean innocent. It means naive. It means gullible, easily led astray, unable to see past the surface. Simple and knows nothing. Foolishness isn't deep, right? It doesn't think about consequences. It's surface level. It doesn't understand the weight of decisions. Foolishness just acts. This is what it's telling us. It's empty-headed, but it pretends like it knows everything. Have you ever met someone like that? Loud, confident, but completely clueless. That's foolishness. That's what this verse is taking us through this morning. That's foolishness. Verse 14, for she sits at the door of her house on a seat by the highest places of the city. Let's unpack this, family. For she sits at the door of her house. Foolishness isn't hiding. Foolishness is sitting there. I know somebody's going to come by. I'll wait. Foolishness isn't hiding in the dark alley. She's right there, chilling at the front door, waiting for you to walk by. She's comfortable, confident, knowing someone's going to take a bite of this apple. Someone. She's not chasing. You're passing right by her every single day. Those moments of temptation. That's her just sitting and waiting on a slip, waiting on a slip up. On a seat by the highest places of the city. This isn't some, backstreet nonsense. This is foolishness all out in the open, wide open. Not hiding at all. Front row seats in the places of influence. The highest places in biblical times were where leaders met, decisions were made, and public announcements were given. Foolishness is right there in the middle, right? So if we look at it in terms of that, foolishness is in our media. Foolishness is in our social circles, in our workplaces. It's everywhere, just waiting. It's loud on our timelines, in our DMs, and in the culture around us. Is it not? Do we not see this? Translation, foolishness is mainstream. It's become trendy. It's popular. But just because everyone sees it and hears it doesn't mean it's worth following. Verse 15. To call to those who pass by, who go straight on their way. Whoever is simple, let him turn and hear. And as for him who lacks understanding, she says to him. To call to those who pass by, who go straight on their way. She's not just sitting there. She's calling out. And notice who she's calling out to. People who are minding their business, to call to those who pass by, who go straight on their way. People that are just minding their business, trying to go on their way, trying with all their might to stay on the right path. She's not worried about folks that are already lost. She's like, she's after you, the one trying to live right, the one that's trying to stay focused. That's how temptation works. It doesn't chase after those already deep in foolishness. It whispers to the ones that are trying to do better. Because if foolishness can knock us off our track, that's a win. That is a win. Whoever is simple, let him turn and hear. Foolishness preys on the naive, saying, hey, I think I see one coming. Foolishness waits. It's looking for people who aren't grounded, who aren't paying attention, who don't have their guard up, right? We say we put on the whole armor, but remember, we also have to fill in those chinks in the armor when we always look at, because I always ask the question, how was Ahab killed? How did Ahab die? It says the arrow made its way in a kink in his armor. So we put on the whole armor of God, and we have to make sure all parts of it are filled in. Right? It's saying, hey, come over here. Guess what? I've got something better, and it's a whole lot easier, and it's more exciting. You don't want to stay on that straight path. You know, and for those that have seen Pilgrim's Progress, we see what Christian has went through. These temptations, these things. Oh, don't take that path that looks smooth, but go this way. This one is more exciting. But here's the kicker. There's nothing new in foolishness. It's the same tried, tired traps, but it's only dressed up in new packaging, in the packaging of today. And as for him who lacks understanding, she says to him, foolishness targets those who lack discernment. If you're not rooted in wisdom, if you're not grounded in God's truth, foolishness, it can sound convincing. It sounds like the right move, like the right thing to do. But the bottom line is, fam, if you're not rooted in truth, we'll be swept up in every and any little thing and taken the wrong direction. Even when the sign says go left, we'll go right. Sign says go right, I'm going left. It says warning, bridge out. Oh, I can probably get across some sort of way. Like in the storms, when it's storming, they was like, hey, don't go that way. There may be sudden water. How oftentimes then do we see on the news, people like, oh, I can navigate this. Limited snickets are bad choices. Verse 17, stolen water is sweet, and bread eaten in secret is pleasant. Now, this is the heart of temptation. Stolen water is sweet. The heart of temptation is pulsing here. Forbidden things always feel more exciting, more daring, don't they? But we know that's where the lie is being planted. Foolishness whispers, nobody has to know. It's just a little thing, and it's sweeter when you're not supposed to have it. So enjoy. Whether it's that risky relationship, cutting corners, whether at work, in your business, whatever situation, or the thrill that fades. And when that happens, what are we generally left with? When the thrill is gone, what are we generally left with? Regret, shame, and as we talked about yesterday, carrying the weight. Carrying the weight. We look around. Everybody's gone. It was like, no, we're all in this together. It's a team. It's a partnership. But then when it comes down to bearing the weight, generally, we're left holding the bag from the decision, the regret, the shame, the consequences that we never saw coming. But here is the truth. Sweet turns bitter real quick. Real quick. The thrill fades. And then it's like, wow, how did I end up here? How did I get here? And bread eaten in secret is pleasant. Sin loves secrecy. Foolishness thrives in the dark. It tells us if no one knows, it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. But hidden things grow. What starts as a small compromise becomes a heavy burden over time. What feels pleasant in private can destroy us in public. It's like a setup. Foolishness isn't just a bad decision. It's a trap from the beginning. It's loud, it's flashy, and it promises excitement. But at the end of the day, it's empty and destructive. As we move through our devotional text, the louder foolishness gets, the more we need to tune in to wisdom. Because wisdom's voice is quieter. But wisdom's voice is the one that saves us from the regret that foolishness guarantees. Brother Wayne says, slowly decays the soul. Yes, it does. And here's the heart of it. Foolishness disguises itself as harmless, even desirable, but it's a trap. We're living in a world that glamorizes instant gratification, shortcuts, and just living for the moment. But Proverbs is clear. That seductive call can lead to destruction. Wisdom helps us to see through those lies. It's like having spiritual noise canceling headphones that drown out that seductive call and keep us focused on the path that leads to life. But we have to let's make this practical. We have to think of this in practical terms, reframe our mind, bring this forward for today. What does the seductive voice of foolishness sound like? What would that look like? How does it show up in our lives today? Because it's not always something big, right? It's not some big obvious temptation. Sometimes it's the little choices that seem harmless, but end up leading us down the wrong path. It's just one more episode trap, just one more. We tell ourselves just one more episode, and before we know it, it's 2 a.m. The next day, we're exhausted, unfocused, and wondering why we're spiritually drained, just drained. Foolishness whispers, oh, it's harmless, but guess what? It's stealing your time and your energy. Then we say, well, there's always tomorrow for me to start on that book, to start on that project, to get the laundry done, to finally clear this, whatever it is. But foolishness has crept in and stolen your time and your energy. The gossip loop. You're in conversation and someone brings up just a juicy tidbit of gossip, just a bit. It feels harmless. We just sharing information back and forth, right? But soon, you're part of a cycle that breaks trust and damages relationships. Foolishness disguises itself as, we just talking, right? But that just talking leads to division. Charlotte says those extra cookies, get rich quick schemes. The you deserve it mentality. You worked hard today. You deserve 3 extra cookies. You worked hard. You went through a lot. You're really stressed out right now. Knowing that you haven't even connected to the blood pressure meter, right, to get a reading. And you know it's already through the roof. Man, this is how it sneaks up on us. You've had a tough day and foolishness whispers, just indulge, just a little. You know what? Go do you some emotional therapy shopping. Splurge on something you can't afford. Eat something you know that isn't good for you, and skip the other commitments. There's always tomorrow. Foolishness masks itself as self-care, but leads to regret. The comparison game. Scrolling through social media, again, comparing our life to everyone else's 60-second highlight reel. Foolishness says, if you just had what they have, you'd be happy. But it's a lie that breeds insecurity and discontentment. The other one, no one will know. Nobody will know temptation. Whether it's, again, cutting corners, hiding habits from loved ones, or making choices that you know aren't right. Foolishness whispers, though, no one will know. But we know, as my grandmother used to always say, what's done in the dark comes to the light. What's done in secret eventually surfaces. And it can cost more than we thought. So how can we work on resisting that seductive call of foolishness? Right? What's one thing that we can do? One way we can stay on the path when temptation feels so enticing. That's where the watch of resistance comes in. 9 p.m. to 12 a.m. The third watch of the night, also known as the watch of resistance, is a perfect time to armor up spiritually. You're winding down, reflecting on the day, right? Getting ready to go into that good sleep period. Armor up spiritually. It's when the world should be quieting down, but temptation at that time often gets louder. Those late night thoughts, the moments of loneliness or boredom, when foolishness begins to whisper the loudest. You're just trying to lay down and get your rest. Anybody notice that? You're ready to settle down, pull up, and you start gathering your stuff, saying, man, I'm getting ready to go to. Does it not seem that foolishness starts to level up? All the thoughts, all the things start going through your mind. You're like, man, I'm tired. Why am I having to deal with these thoughts right now? This is the time to ask, what temptation is pulling at me right now? What am I dealing with? Where have I justified small compromises? Creeping compromises, as they're sometimes called. How can I lean into God's wisdom to resist the pull of foolishness? Set aside some time during this watch, 9 p.m. to 12 a.m. Set aside some time during this watch. Here's a prayer prompt for you to help you start out. God, help me recognize the seductive call of foolishness in my life. Give me the wisdom to see through the lies and the strength to resist temptation. Teach me to choose the path that leads to life, even when it's hard. Because here's the truth. Foolishness will always call. But guess what? Like those robocalls, those spam calls, we don't have to answer. The seductive voice promises quick fixes, easy thrills, secret pleasures, but rarely delivers on what it promises. It's usually something different, something that we aren't willing to pay. A cost that's so heavy, we live in a long time of regret for that decision. Wisdom, on the other hand, might be quieter, but it leads to life, peace, and purpose. So today, ask yourself as you go through, whose voice am I listening to? What voice am I hearing? Is this the voice of foolishness, or is this the voice of wisdom? Because the choices that we make today, we know that they shape our tomorrow. So we have to look at those choices with a keen eye and just having that patience, that time to stop and pause. Now, let's see if we were tuned in this morning or if we were just nodding along. Because guess what? We've made it to our quiz time. Yes, we have. Let's go.
In the morning light so bright, it's the first light reflections quiz time. Tornado leading the way with God's wisdom. Let's start the quiz and seize the day.
Let's go.
All right, fam. True or false? Foolishness is always obvious and easy to spot. Is this true? Or is this false? Foolishness is always obvious and easy to spot. Right? I'm agreeing with y'all. I am. Charlotte sometimes. Mama B says, I know that's false. That's right. Foolishness is often disguised as harmless and desirable. Proverbs 9:13 describes folly as what? A loud, wise, gracious, quiet. Proverbs 9:13 describes folly as what? A woman who loud, wise, gracious, quiet. Woman who knows nothing. Which one? Let's see. Delisa must have got that coffee and she slipped in there. She said, I got this. That is indeed correct, family. Loud, as a loud woman who knows nothing. Where does foolishness position herself in Proverbs 9? Is she hiding in the shadows? Sitting quietly in the corner? At the highest point of the city in plain sight? Or running a food truck downtown? Now, it could be D. Where does foolishness position herself in Proverbs 9? Hiding in the shadows, sitting quietly at the highest point, plain sight, or running a food truck downtown? Michelle says C. Delisa says B. Charlotte sometimes says C. Saying says, I'm going to go with C. I don't care what Delisa over there typing in, but y'all, Delisa probably ain't got her glasses on. At the highest point of the city in plain sight. True or false? Foolishness only targets people who are already off the right path. True or false? True or false? Right? Told you she ain't got glasses on. She can't see a thing. We're going with false. Let me start back here. Let me see. Michelle got false. Delisa with false. Sam was like, I'm just going to push something and guess over here. Burton, that is false. Foolishness often calls out to those that are trying to do the right thing, just trying to mind our business. Proverbs chapter 9:17 says what? Water is sweet and bread eaten in secret is pleasant. Is it fresh, stolen, cold, or shared? Fresh water, stolen water, cold water, pressed down, shaken up, or shared water? Ice cold water. Stolen water. Bring me some water. Michelle, let's see. Stolen water is sweet and bread eaten in secret is pleasant. Now remember when we first started out in Proverbs, what did it tell us? Use the water from our own well. Mind our own cistern. So you see how it comes back and stay out of somebody else. Stay out of it. Stay out of it. Stay in your own well. Check it. Check your own water levels. Which of the following is an example of foolishness in daily life? Seeking God's wisdom, indulging in secret habits, choosing growth-focused friends, or making wise choices. That one's too easy. Too easy. A, B, C, or D. Right, I'm with Charles. That's a big giveaway. Let's see. Indulging in secret habits. All right, fam. True or false? The watch of resistance is from 9 p.m. to 12 a.m. Is this true or false? The watch of resistance is from 9 p.m. to 12 a.m. True or false? Or is that the transformation watch? Is that the watch of wisdom? Michelle says true. Y'all agree with Michelle? Michelle been studying those prayer watches. I see her comments coming through. Michelle, when Michelle said, I'm going back and I'm getting caught up, she has. She has been one by one and she's studying it out. Line upon line, precept upon precept. Charlotte sometimes, Mama B is saying, yeah, that is true. That is the watch of resistance. And that is indeed correct. Foolishness promises pleasure, but delivers what? Joy, success, the pain of an Android phone, or freedom. Foolishness promises pleasure, but delivers joy, success, pain, or freedom. Jay says 3. I knew. 1, 2, 3, 4. Charlotte, sometimes. Charlotte, you should be getting your package soon. I did get your email, and I can't remember if I responded to it, but you should be receiving your package soon. I know Delisa was excited. She was like, I ended up texting her back. I said, well, now you can join Michelle and Mama B as they sip in their First Light Reflection mug. So Delisa was all excited with her mug. Pain. Foolishness promises pleasure, but delivers pain. What's a sign you're listening to the voice of foolishness? Aligned with God's purpose? Peace and fulfillment? Justifying compromises? Or pausing to pray before decisions? I thought I did, but I didn't want to bank on it. If somebody would ask me, you want to put something on that? I'm like, no, I can't put something on that. I'm telling you, it's been a long couple of weeks, y'all. Long couple of weeks. Long couple of weeks. Jay with C. Let's see. Sands in on the mix. Justifying compromises. That is indeed correct. True or false? Let's bring it in as we bring it home. Wisdom helps you resist temptation by exposing the lies of foolishness. Is this true or is this false? True or false? Wisdom helps you resist temptation by exposing the lies of foolishness. Jay, let's see. Mama being saying with true. Alicia says, I'll put my hand on true on that one. That is indeed true, family. Family, we know that foolishness will always cause. The calls will not stop. They aren't going to stop. It will continue to be loud. It will continue to be persuasive. And it will continue to promise the world. Although it served no man since the beginning of time. No man has it served. Not with integrity, at least. Right? But here's what it won't tell you. That it's a trap. But the good news is we pull the blinds back, open the windows and say, I see you. I see you. Right? And I'm not going to answer. You can call somebody else. Wisdom's voice, again, might be quieter. But guess what? It's steady, it's tried, and it's true. And it leads to life if we just stay on the path. Remember, verse told us yesterday, life will be multiplied. So today as we go through and we face those subtle temptations, those small compromises, put that extra cookie back, Charlotte, put it back. Those small compromises. Remember, you have the power to choose. And through Christ, you can do all things who strengthens Christ, who strengthens you. You can do all things. Cast your cares upon him. Don't take on that weight. Don't try and say, I can have this all on my own. Right? Remember, we are made in his image. And he said at any time, I could have called a legion of 10,000. Call on that legion. Because you have the power to choose. Choose wisdom. Choose life. Step into it, family. And remember, you don't walk this journey alone. Emmanuel. Not only is our First Light Reflections family, our community here, God is with you. Remember, monkey knows which tree to climb, which says a fool knows exactly where to go and find trouble. All right? Walk good, do good, be good. And guess what? As my friends over in Serbia say, me gone.
Wake up to the sunrise glow. First Light Reflections, here we go. Torah uses God's wisdom to guide us every day. Self-discovery on the way. Reflect, reset, be your best. Join the quiz, it's not a test. Feel the